We are the first and only one to do this, presenting a no competition slide. And this boils down to completely ignoring the competition. And again, I probably see this daily here at Startups.com. Maybe not to the point of saying we have no competition, although I do see that on slides probably once a week. But then I look at the competitive analysis and you can tell there really hasn't been a lot of thought gone into it.
The reason when people say we have no competition, it's not because they see the competition and they're not willing to talk about it. It's because they don't understand what competition means, right? So in other words, Ed, if you and I were to start Netflix back in the day, like way back in the day, like when they were mailing DVDs, and we were to say, there's no competition for what we do. There's nobody's mailing DVDs and nobody is going to move to a streaming service, at that moment, right? This is like early 2000s. Investors would laugh at you. And be like, what are you talking about? There's nobody that does this. Yeah, that's not your competition, dude. Your competition is Blockbuster. Your competition is movie theaters. Your competition is cable TV, right? You think that if you don't deliver these movies, people are going to sit at home and just not watch TV or movies, right? Like, come on, man. And then when people say, well, there's no competition for what we do or even this category, it's like, okay, so what you're saying is when this product launches, money is just going to fall out of the ceiling for everybody to start spending, right? No, when somebody spends money on a new product, it comes from somewhere else, right? Wherever we're taking it from, it's called share of wallet. Wherever we're taking it from is who we're competing with, okay? So when Netflix gets launched and I spend money on Netflix, I'm taking it out of my budget that I'm spending at Blockbuster. I'm taking out of my budget that I'm spending on cable TV. Those are my competitors. Wherever you're taking money from is your competition.
And by mere fact of doing that, they want to eliminate you. So if you're going to ignore the competition, great, do so at your own peril, but they're not going to ignore you. And that's something that founders underestimate. On top of which, Will, I like to do this here at Startups.com. Someone says, here's what I'm working on. And I go, that's great. And I'm sure you got a unique way of working on it. Just to let you know, I can literally throw a rock right now and hit a dozen founders in Startups.com that are trying to solve the same problem as you. Yep. And founders go, no. And then literally I'll let them know, like, this is their problem and solution statement, which we've worked on. They go, oh, no, competition. And it's not to say you want to be driven by fear or drive a car looking in the rearview mirror, but you at least need to acknowledge that there will be competitive forces when you're working on your startup. Ignore that at your own peril.
Yeah, I look at it as a good competition slide says when our customer goes to make a decision, here are their other options, right? One of the folks in the audience said that they heard a pitch where somebody was developing basically a cigarette dumper and they listed the ground as something they were competing with. Now while that may sound pedestrian, it's true. It's true, right? Yep. And it's okay to say here are behaviors or solutions that we're competing with that aren't companies, that are just other ways in behaviors. But you are competing with some other force.
Let me double click on that. I was telling founder on Reddit, you're competing with them doing nothing. Because this founder said, I don't get it. They say I have this problem and I presented the solution and they still refuse to sign up. They don't want to talk. They don't want to sign LOIs. And I said, what you are competing against is the activation energy of doing nothing, of changing your behaviors. And that's another one that founders ignore.
I agree.
That being said, I'm not great at identifying my competition. And thank you, those of you in the audience acknowledging that. And that's what we're here for, is to say, hey, we got your blind spots. Let's take a look around for you.